Hey guys, it's your girl Chrissy, founder of H2 GovCon Ready. And yes, I am working today, but I decided to jump on because I want to get something off my chest, right? So I own a government contracting agency, and I just launched my new all-in-one software where it includes knowledge information and it helps you maintain your pipeline, right? So this application was built by an actual government contractor based off of all of the issues, pain points that I've dealt with in both sides of my careers as I was a contract administrator and now I own my own government contracting company, right? So the software is amazing. If you want to find out more about it, I think the link is down there, so check it out. But in today's video, I want to talk about something that a lot of people reach out to me about. So as I have multiple contracts in the aviation industry. What is that, right? So airports, right? I have several major contracts with airports. So we're going to talk about how airport procurement actually works. All right, you ready? Here you go. So you found an airport solicitation. It looks like every other government bid that you may have responded to. So you respond, right? And then you lose. Let's unpack all of that. Don't get upset. Let's unpack it. It's a good thing, all right? But here's the part that stings. You probably lost on something that had nothing to do with your capability. You lost because an airport is not a city. It's not a state agency, and it's definitely not a federal buyer. Okay? It's its own animal. And almost nobody explains this. So your girl is here, okay? It's your girl is here. All right, so as I mentioned, I've won several contracts with several airports, and it's amazing. But I always give you the good and the bad. So I'm going to do that right now, okay? So let me show you what's different when you're bidding on aviation or airport contracts, right? So let's talk about who you're actually contracting with. So first thing to start out is who owns the airport? I know that sounds weird, right? Because the airport is not the buyer. The buyer is whatever legal entity operates it. And that entity determines every rule that you have to follow. Make sense? Okay. So you've got three common structures, right? You have a port authority, which I work with a lot of port authorities for different airports. You've got a aviation department where the airport is a department inside of that municipal government agency. And then you've got a standalone airport authority with its own board. Got it? All right. So this matters immediately and practically. Remember that because it tells you which procurement code applies, which portal the solicitation posts to, which board of commissioners has to approve the award. Yeah, they have to approve it, a board. Okay. A port authority commission and a city council, they do not meet on the same schedule. So, and that schedule is your award date. So be mindful of that, right? Because there may be some lag in between decision making. So before you write a single word of a proposal, find the operating entity, find their procurement page, and get on their vendor list. I'm not talking about sam.gov because over here, we don't go over there, okay? You want to sign up on their portal, whoever owns the airport. Now let's talk about follow the money because the money sets the rules. Period. All right. So this is a piece that trips up experienced contractors, and single, it's the single most useful thing in this video. So I want you to really pay attention. At an airport, the funding source on your specific project determines which compliance you have to apply. Okay. So some airports, so there could be same airports, two projects, two completely different rule books, right? If the project is funded with FAA federal dollars, federal requirements come along with that money, even though it's a local procurement. That can mean you have to adhere to the Buy American provisions, DBE participation goals, federal wage requirements, and specific contract clauses. Even though you're contracting with a state entity or a local entity, right? So there's different funding, and we call these quasi funding, but That's another topic. But if it's funded by a passenger facility, charges, different sets of rules applies, right? If it's funded by airport revenue, like parking, concessions, leases, you're generally in local procurement rules only. Okay? Got it? All right. So the question you should be asking during the pre-bid meetings is not what's the budget. The question is, what's the funding source on this project? That one answer tells you what your compliance burden is, what your certifications are worth here, okay? And honestly, whether you should bid or not, right? So that's a lot to consider, right? So stop asking what is the budget because they will throw something out, but that's we need more. Okay. So let's talk about certifications. Do they actually count here? Okay. Because this is where I also see a lot of people wasting effort and time. Okay. The airport world certification is maybe DBE, and that's disadvantaged business enterprises. If you're pursuing concessions, like if you want to have like a restaurant, a store in the airport, certifications for that is ACDBE. Okay, those are the ones tied to FAA funding work and the participating goals primes are chasing. They love this, right? But your state MWBE certification, your city small business program, your federal certifications, those are real. They have value and they are not automatically intertwined in the airport, right? So a prime trying to hit a DBE goal on an FAA funded project cannot count your state MWBE certification towards it. Okay, if that makes sense. So if you have a federal certification, your state does not match. Okay, so I have a minority women owned small business certification for my state, and I'll tell you what it does and doesn't do in another video. But here's the short version for airports: get certified in the program that your actual buyer recognizes, on the project type you're actually pursuing. Otherwise, you're just collecting certifications. And we don't have time for that. I'm collecting stuff that's growing my business, right? So the cost nobody prices, right? So let's talk about this. It's very important. Now the operational stuff, right? And this is where margins can disappear. Okay. Badging and access. So if your people are working past the security checkpoint, they need access issued credentials. That means background checks, fingerprinting, security training, processing time, and this can take about 2 weeks, right? So every person, every renewal, if your team isn't badged, you're paying an escort. So make sure you price all of that. Put that in your pricing, okay? Work windows. This was a wake up call when I won my first airport contract. I was like, what? An airport doesn't close. I knew this, but like when you're actually in it, you're like, what? So your work may be restricted to overnight or to windows that don't disrupt passenger flow. That's a shift and a productivity hit, right? And if you bid daytime work, you just bought yourself a loss. You have to keep that in mind. They never close. So we have about 35 employees. We have to make sure that someone is there. Insurance. Airport insurance requirements routinely run well above a city contract at what they ask for, right? So read the limits before you bid, not after you win. Get the quote, okay? Some of you will find out your current policy doesn't come close, but to be honest, it's not that crazy, right? So operational disruption rules. There will be language about not impeding operations. That language has teeth and it constrains how you sequence work. So none of that is in the scope of work section. It's in the general conditions, the security exhibit, and in the insurance requirements. The part people skip. It's just facts, right? It's just facts. So let's talk about how to actually get in. Ready? All right. So what do you do with all of this information, right? So pick one, no, pick 2 to 3 airports in your region and identify the operating entity for each. Register in their vendor system, right? Okay. 2, Go to their outreach events, right? Airports run small business and DBE outreach, and they run pre-bid meetings that are open, right? Show up before there's a solicitation you want, just to get your feet wet, right? Number three, find the primes. You heard that, find the primes. A significant share of airport work flows through prime contractors who are actively looking for certified subs to meet participation goals. That's a warmer path than bidding cold with no experience. Find a prime, and they're usually at the pre-bid. But if you want more information, email me and I'll show you how to find them. Four, read one full airport solicitation from start to finish before you even respond to one. Not the scope, all of it. The exhibits are where the real requirements live, okay? So airports are one of the most consistent government markets there is. Trust me. That's why I ain't going nowhere. And they're one of the least crowded because most contractors never learn the rules and quietly go back to bidding on things they'll never win, okay? But I want you to win because why? We're all winners here. So if you want the next one, I'm breaking down what actually happens to your proposal after you hit submit from the agency to the from the inside to the agency. So subscribe so you can catch it, right? And also, if you need help with shrink your pipeline development and analyzing solicitations, I have my free all-in-one H2 GovCon Ready platform. It is free to sign up, and right now we have the special pricing for new members. It is amazing. It's all in one. Everything is there. Okay, you can see your pipeline. You can manage your deadlines, your requirements. It pulls the scope of work, and it even drafts your proposal. Not the generic AI templates that you guys see out there. No, this was built by someone who actually is a government contractor who has an IT background. And I wanted something that had everything that I needed and that wouldn't bust the bank, if right, because it doesn't take all of that, right? So if you're interested, the link is below. And as usual, thank you for watching. I will be posting more videos soon. Now let me get back to work, y'all. Bye.